They'd be like, tonight, Michael, or tonight, Kat, because the people change. Tonight, Kat, I'm going to be... And there's like this massive pile of smoke. And all of a sudden, they were dressed in this other outfit. And they were like, Jolene, Jolene. That's quite good.
Got some fucking pipes on you.
Actually, can do really well male opera.
That's the intro.
Hiya.
Hello. We're Q&A-ing again.
We actually recorded this and Nat's phone overheated because he was using a laptop charger to charge his phone. So we stopped recording. So instead of us merging the two together, we just decided we'll just do it again. Ronnie's had a haircut and he's also got a new toy that he's just had and he's already destroying it. Come here. Say hello. Okay. There you go. Enjoy. We can hear that later. So, you intro. You did well last time.
So, we are doing another Q&A because I think the first Q&A is our most viewed video. And
500 views.
Which is pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Also, quick shout out. Thank you for the subs. We reached 100 and something subs.
105.
105.
Yeah, it's pretty cool considering like,
I'm gonna have to take that off.
we're just doing this for a bit of fun.
Yeah.
We're just putting us out there, innit?
Being mogged.
He's gonna throw a tangent now. So yeah, we're just doing this so you can get to know us more. A lot of the questions we seem to receive are more on the emotional side of the sport.
Maybe more like personal, I would say.
Yeah.
Instead of educational.
The unspoken side of the sport, I guess.
Yeah, which is really nice. And also, obviously, a lot more to do with the relationship. So, but again, almost like combining the relationship with the sport. And I think we love it. We actually do. It's really nice to be able to dive into that and share that. At the same time, we've said that we're going to do a third Q&A in a couple of weeks' time, where we would love to really base it on education. You know, complete honesty, like we have a lot of knowledge without kind of licking our asses. Like we have a lot of mileage, experience, and actual book smart knowledge to go alongside it. And we'd love to be able to share that as well. So if you do have any questions for the educational third parter, please drop them below, like in the comments, or of course just message us separately. We will be putting a Q&A box up closer to the time. But yeah, but for now, we'll dive into it.
For now, we have these ones.
Yeah.
Last time we got through about 4, so we're going to try and get through more this time. And also, Hannah is 20 days out from her first showing, so if we divert or go on a tangent.
Yeah, I'm not even going to say sorry.
No, it's brilliant. It's hilarious. So the first one is one that I really liked because we're both, I guess, at very different stages of the question. Because it's how do you deal with body image stress? And it's something that I still struggle with massively. Being an open bodybuilder and wanting to be an absolute freak and not being a freak yet. Whereas it's something that you have massively overcome. And I like your message around how you feel in your own skin, having been both ends of the spectrum and your way around
I'm still on the spectrum.
Still on the spectrum. But you've been like
okay.
chunky spectrum, peeled spectrum, like all of it. And you've
I
learned
was
to...
autistic.
Yes, I know. And you've learned to love all of it, which is cool. I mean,
yeah.
For me, anyway, like I remember years of wearing 2 jumpers because I felt small or things like that. Or like, it can be as silly as... if my performance on the gym doesn't mark up to what I think it should be, like if I have a bad lift that I've really wanted or that's been programmed, that in itself, just because I don't hit that number, can massively affect my body image, which is kind of fucked. But I think that's because my body image is solely based on my competitive goals, not in like a vanity thing, but like I've missed this lift, so I am
not going to reach my goals.
I'm not going to reach my potential, I guess, or that kind of thing. So it's something that I still massively struggle with, but I think environment has a big part of it. In the one bit that I do credit to Hannah a lot is she makes me feel good in my own skin, regardless of phase, I guess. A big thing for me about this is that I will...
Have you seen it?
like I would never have previously worn vests ever, and now I wear many of them because Hannah makes me feel comfortable in them. But I think it's a day-to-day thing. It is a struggle, so I guess I can't really give much on how to deal with body image stress, because for me it's usually I will feel shit about it and then I will just go into the next session with a little bit more fire, I guess. So I deal with it by working harder. But I think your view on body image and appreciating yourself is a lot more in-depth and more useful, I think.
I don't think that's a bad insight to share though, because I think it's a lot of the time it's seen as almost like the opposite, that the woman may have issues, quote unquote, with body image compared to the man.
The 290 plus pound bodybuilder feels small.
Yeah, but I think it's because you do have set goals, and I know we're going to dive into that like later as well. It's something that one of the questions really lines up with it, but we've discussed the fact that my goals obviously do really matter, but you're going to collect, so you know yours are already laid out, and so you've got this internal pressure to ensure that you are constantly hitting the mark. Whereas I think for me, without going too deep into this, that I've been at both sides where I've been massively under eating, massively underweight, felt horrendous from that, and then I've used food as a crutch, been massively overweight, and for me, I kind of don't care now which side of the spectrum I'm on with regards to being thin or thick, because of the change, development and work that I've done internally. And I think one of the biggest things was when I did that whole 12 months bulk. So I came out of my first competition prep. I was at a very bad point, in complete honesty. So what I mean by that is, you know, relationship with food and issues with binge eating. So Kuba put me, I wasn't with Kuba for that first show. I joined him in the months to follow, or first season, I should say. And he put me on a mini cut to kind of make sure that we were sensitive, because I was in a very bad place. But then off the back of that, we went into a push, and it was like 12 months, not a single diet, to fix my kind of mindset towards this process of really focusing on my strengths, focusing on fueling, focusing on what's important. There was a big change within those 12 months of focusing on important areas of my life that had absolutely nothing to do with how I looked. So it was focusing on my strength and performance, and also just knowing that I wasn't going to go into a diet meant that I wasn't thinking, oh my God, I'm gaining too much here. But it did so much for me personally. So I was focusing on everything that I was so much more than my scale weight. And yeah, I think over the years I have been able to really detach from how I look. Now, I know that seems so odd because we are in a sport that you are judged by your physique. But even now, day to day, I'm not someone that really body checks ever. You know, I won't go around and be like looking in all the mirrors and things, which is something that I've spoken to a lot of clients about. I just pretty much, I wear whatever I wear, and we don't really have any mirrors or anything like that. So I just kind of do the do. And I think because I do love doing the do, then I've just pulled away from what I actually look like, because I have a coach. I put my trust in that coach, and whatever happens, happens. And I think that's where we can kind of differ, because you are self-coached. You do have to focus on the visuals a lot more as well. You have to kind of be more, am I doing the right thing? Do I need to pull back, you know?
I liked how you spoke briefly on, because I think a lot of people struggle in the sense of bad body image days in an off season when they are heavy. But when you got to your peak body weight, how you learned to actually love the way you looked and felt at that weight is a big part.
Yeah.
And like loving being strong because when you're peeled, you're not necessarily as strong. You feel like shit, but you're able to love it from a performance aspect, and that in turn led to you loving the look as well.
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, when we say about the look, like I'm currently like a size 6, and peak off season, I was like a size 14. So I think that's a good kind of comparison for people listening if they haven't been following, of course, like over on Instagram and things over the years.
Yeah.
Cool.
2. Who's more competitive?
That's easy.
This guy. Massively. We've spoken about this before in our own spaces, in that one thing that really interested me about Hannah's mindset towards, I mean, the word being competing and doing shows, is that she doesn't do it with any actual competitive drive. Like most people, you think when they get into sports, is like, I'm doing this to win, I'm doing this to come first, I'm doing this to beat other people. Hannah doesn't have any drive towards wanting to beat anyone else.
I remember that when we first started talking, you were so confused. You just did not understand.
It really melted my head. It's really cool because a lot of the time you can use that competitive fuel to drive you through the hard moments. But you do this sport from a place of purely having passion for the difficulty of it. And also you are entirely competing against the previous you. There is no, I'm doing it to come first, because you'd rather come 5th and look better than you did last year when you came first. And that, I understand it, but I can't
grasp.
Oh yeah, I can't grasp it.
Well, before we go into like, I guess you being competitive, I think how I would touch on that is almost, it didn't necessarily happen on purpose. I think because of going into all my different seasons and because of not fitting criteria necessarily properly, I think it's meant that I had to learn to be okay with, okay, well, what would I prefer? And I've had to reiterate this even to someone this morning of like, would you prefer to look the way that you do and maybe come 5th? Or would you prefer to look like first, whether it be softer or something, and like win everything? And a lot of the time, I look at whoever does come first, and I'm like, yeah, no, I think I'd prefer to be peeled. Like, so I think it's almost come as, you know, as I've gone through the sport. That being said, I still have a slight kind of, you've almost taught me to have a little bit more of a competitive edge this season, to think a little bit more competitively, but it's not in a bad way. I think how you've brought it into my headspace has been like, do what others can't or do what others won't.
Yeah.
And that's been great.
The sentence is, do what others won't to go places they can't.
Yeah. Like that's been massively like impactful, I would say, into having that even extra level to my training sessions, like everything pretty much. But yeah, even now, I know for a fact, and I think what's also different is being in a woman's category compared to men. Men's bodybuilding is easy in terms of judging. Biggest, hardest, leanest, monster, you know what I mean? Women's categories, even between federations, like when I explain them to you, you'll be like, oh, it's a lot, because they're all different. Like,
well, I'm still trying to get to grips with the differences of what each federation is after within the same class.
Yeah, yeah. That'll be, and fortunately, because it is my job, I just enjoy learning about it so much. Like, I do understand and I do know the differences. So I think that's why I just don't take anything to heart, because I'm like, I don't necessarily fit X criteria, and I'm so okay with that. Because I know that for me, yeah, genetics really does play quite a large role within it. I know that last season, me trying to fit the criteria, come in softer, I was heavier than now. I've just realised that. I was stepping on stage heavier than I am right now, and even softer, and it wasn't a good look for me. Some people, they come in softer and it's beautiful because of where they hold their body fat. It works, but it doesn't work for me. So I'd rather come in leaner and look cool.
Yeah, you just want to be the best version of you.
Yeah.
Which is really wholesome. Like there's no negativity that attached to the connotation of competing.
And I think maybe it's also because I stand on stage with, say, clients, and I'll be like, I know the work they've put in, and I'll also look at them and be like, you are bodybuilding, or you are figure, like you're the epitome of it. And I'm like, cool, like you deserve that win. So I think that I get excited about their wins too.
Meanwhile, in this corner, I think like I've always been from a young age in kind of contact competitive sports. So like I was fighting for years, and it was rugby, and it was that kind of thing, and it was always like win, like especially with fighting, it's you walk into a cage, the door's locked and one person walks out winning, and that's always the mindset I've had. And that comes the same with bodybuilding, in that I'm there, yes, to be a better version of myself, but the better version of myself is there to take the heads off of everyone else, and the better version of myself is there to take the souls of everyone else. So it's not, I just want to see how I do. I can't go in with that attitude.
I don't think you need to, though. That's what I mean. It's just different. You don't need to go in with the same headspace that I do, because you are going to take the heads off everyone. It's just different.
We'll see.
Anyway, I think that's good.
Yeah, it's really cool. Sports psychology interests me.
Yeah.
So, moving away from bodybuilding, what's a habit you've picked up from each other? You can go first.
Vaping.
I don't see you with a vape in your hand. It's all the way over there.
Yeah, because I'm trying to be better with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I wouldn't say it's your fault. I definitely started when I was in Ibiza. But when we started dating, I wasn't vaping. But sitting next to you while you are, it kind of does make you vape more. I don't know why he's been so needy. I don't know why.
Like he's been snoozing and chilling and playing.
It's
we get
so
the camera
crazy.
out, and he's like, I'm just going to be everywhere.
What? Come here then. Up. Come here. Right.
So
but yeah,
what's an actual habit that you picked up from me that's not horrendous?
Oh yeah, to be fair, the other habit that I actually do really like, is something that I touched on in the supplement needs lectures this month. Like chrononutrition, basically. So like meal timings. Like I was very open to admit that my meal timings in my previous prep would kind of get closer and like earlier and earlier. Like I'd have my final meal at like 4:30. Whereas this time round, I do think that's had a massive impact on my sleep, in my digestion. The fact that my calories have been able to stay so high is down to the fact that you are so on it with your meal timings, and that's transferred to me. So like it is literally pretty much 8, 10, 12, 3, 5, 7 every day,
regardless of where we are.
Yeah. And it's on days more recently, it's harder. But up until this point, bear in mind I started prep 3rd of March. It is now the 17th of August. Up until this week, it's not been an issue. It's been incredible. Up until now, it's a little bit more tricky.
The 2.5 to 3 hour window gets different.
I mean, but the difference is, when I'm eating now, I'm feeling like I'm not eating.
Yeah.
Like I explained to you yesterday, I literally feel I ate a meal, and seconds later I was like, I wish I hadn't, because I don't feel like I've eaten.
Stop. Habit I've picked up from you is sleeping.
Yeah.
Which has been massive. I was always in the camp of sleep faster. Like I do 5-6 hours because I worked nights for years, and it just twisted my brain. And I would sleep from like 12, 1-ish till like 6-ish. Be like, yeah, that's cool, that's fine, that's enough.
Like 2, 3.
Yeah, I'd sleep horrendously.
And like it was like sleep hygiene for you. Like you'd sleep on the settee. You actually always needed a weed before you went to sleep. Like you could, your sleep actual habits were just horrendous.
Just had to get baked off my nut.
Yeah. Like, and I think a lot of it was down to your headspace though, wasn't it? Like you couldn't quieten the noise to be able to go to sleep.
Yeah. What the fuck though? But because Hannah is someone that, even in prep, which is wild, still gets 8 to 9 hours of sleep consistently.
Maybe let's say 7 to 9.
7 to 9. Well, even if you get the 7, you'll still lie horizontal for the last hour.
Well, so some nights, like, I mean, I have had a night where it's been like 5.
But it's
because of hunger pains.
So rare.
But it's very rare, and I also just make sure I am lying there. If I'm awake, doesn't matter. I need to rest horizontally, so I'm staying like this, pretending.
Yeah. And because I've got a big thing about us going to bed together, that in turn has then brought my sleep time forward, and I've over the time have ticked over, so I'm consistently getting 8 to 9 hours, and the difference it's made in terms of just like general fatigue, fogginess, all of that, and us having our evening routine has in turn helped our sleep hygiene.
Massively.
My sleep hygiene, because we always have our we have like a work cut off at 7 p.m. where we'll sit down. We'll still be answering texts and stuff, but we're not actually doing sit down work. We have a last meal at 7 together. We watch 1 to 2 episodes of a show, and then we will be in bed between 8 and 9 o'clock. And having that set routine every evening without fail has taught my body to be tired at that time.
Yeah.
So even if we get into bed and I'm not feeling too tired, because we follow that same routine, when you then drop off within like 15, 20 minutes or whatever it is, even if I've planned to be awake and watch 2-3 episodes of anime like a nerd, I'll get like half an episode in and go, nope.
Yeah.
And it's made such a difference.
So the thing is, you say that, obviously when we started talking, I used to be like, oh yeah, off to bed now, blah, blah, blah. It was always me, obviously, going to bed first. But saying that, I was really bad for working until I slept.
Yeah.
So like, I didn't ever have a cut-off. So you've not taught me, but to keep our relationship in a healthy way and to give each other time, we've put in that kind of cut-off point so that we have an evening together. And that in turn has obviously helped my sleep, because I'm not working until the minute that I'm like, okay.
Well, we don't,
because then my brain's kicking.
A lot of couples will sit next to each other in the evening and they'll like doom scroll. We don't even
Oh,
do
yeah,
that.
no.
We
when
sit
we
and we're
sit,
watching something together.
the phones
or
are
we
away.
sit and we're talking with each other.
Yeah.
Or if we are scrolling through shit, we're scrolling through shit together.
Yeah, a lot, yeah.
So yeah, that's a habit. So in turn, I've given you better meal times, which then led to me having a better sleep routine because we've lined up our routines.
That works.
There you go. There's your answer.
Okay. Next.
How do you balance attraction and competitive energy? So this is the one I got confused with how it was meant to be read. Because I read it in the sense of like, if you're both competitive, how do you manage a relationship and attraction around that? And I couldn't understand it on the basis that, yes, if both of you have competitive goals, those goals, you're not headed in the same direction. So like, even if, say, we both had the same goals of, look, we both want pro cards, we both want to win pro shows, that kind of shit. Yeah. Regardless of who got there first, it doesn't make a fucking difference.
No.
There's no competition between us directly. As in, if she won hers before I won mine, I wouldn't be annoyed because you're supporting each other's competitive goals.
But
I
understand the question because I see it all the time with couples. All the time. It's like, it's not just say we're obviously taking this as competitive because we compete in a show, but people are even talking about, like, you know, business, maybe sponsorships or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it's people, you see couples compete with one another all the time, and it's so unhealthy, because you're so right. Like, it is about how we're gonna raise each other, like how we going to support one another. I guess it's a little bit easier with us having different goals, like you say, like as in from an outsider. You know, we're not going to be doing the same shows and things like that. I don't know, but I entirely agree with what you're saying, that it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
because they just shouldn't be together.
My dickhead answer: how do you balance attraction and competitive energy? You don't, because you don't have competitive energy against each other.
No.
You have competitive energy for each other. Fuck off.
On to the next.
There you go. How do you manage being around each other while dieting?
Today's a great example.
Is it?
Yeah. What, we just got your off plan, but I made you get that off plan, and that's not because I'm a feeder. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. So how do we manage being around each other while dieting? I think is relatively easy, because we both live the same lifestyle. It's in the same sense as how I wrote on my post about traveling, how that's easier being in an environment that supports your direction and your goals, in that year round we are eating the same food sources, the amounts just change. So it's not like Hannah's prepping for a show and I'm eating cheeseburgers every day. Hannah's prepping for a show and I'm weighing out my chicken and rice and cream of rice, same as she is. So it's not like she's in an environment that would then cause issues.
I mean, not that.
In terms of a food sense.
Yeah.
So I think that covers that bit. But then how do you manage being each other while dieting in an emotional sense? I guess might be where this is leading to.
Oh, maybe. Right. I took it as like eating like more food, like one person dieting and the other person
we'll do it
not.
On the food bit then.
Okay.
We'll stick to that. Yeah.
So I think it's more down to the fact that I'm eating so little and you're eating a lot. So I think it's the fact that I don't care and he doesn't care. So, you know, for example, we know the purpose for both sides. So Nat doesn't necessarily need an off plan, but as in he doesn't want one, but he needs it for the calorie side of things, because he's on X amount of food at the minute and he's simply maintaining. So in order to get the calorific needs that he needs to be able to continue pushing body weight, one of the easiest ways is having just one off-plan meal a week. So he doesn't want that though, really. So it's something that I have had to almost like reinforce. So we were in Aldi today and we walked past and he was like, oh, I always see these and I always want them. And I went, get them then. And that isn't, again, this isn't because I'm a feeder and I want to be like, how is it? Is it nice? Like, let me sniff it. I couldn't give a fuck. But I know that is going to help him gain the weight that he needs to continue this push.
Well, it's also you taught me to relax a little bit as well. Because it's like, if you didn't tell me to, then I would just eat on plan year round.
Yeah, but you do need to.
Yeah. Yeah, I think how do you manage being around each other while dieting? Is you understand the reasons behind it. It's like, cool, you're eating less because you chose to.
Yeah.
I'm eating more because I chose to.
I think it's very different as well. Like, I'll turn around and I say I'm hungry today, but I'm not there saying it in a way of like, oh my God, I'm so hungry today. I'm like, ooh.
It's a clinical assessment,
right? A clinical assessment. This means something's happening. I haven't felt this hungry for a while. I've got stomach pains. Something's coming, you know? It's just a different perspective on...
Yeah, my response is drop tomorrow then.
Drop tomorrow then. You know, it's not like oh, babe, are you hungry?
I'll fucking deal with it.
Yeah.
Do some posing practice.
Yeah.
What, do you do that one?
Yeah.
My partner is currently in prep. How can we communicate better? Take the floor.
So, well, obviously it would be from your perspective, wouldn't it? Because your partner is
Okay.
currently in prep. But with regards to that, my sense, my 2 pence will be, I guess, two sides even from me. Number one, your partner being on prep shouldn't really change anything. Like, your communication should be there regardless. That being said, you know, as I am getting closer and closer to being on stage, I'm getting leaner and leaner. There are days where I might be a little less vocal, a little less able to communicate. But the thing is, because we've put all the communication, I guess, work in beforehand, we don't need to communicate as deeply now.
Yeah, so it's you lay the groundwork. So my partner's currently in prep. How do we communicate better? Well, I think one thing we did was from the beginning of the of prep, and we did anyway, but we would actively set aside time to sit and communicate how we're feeling, what's going on, and rather than just saying, I have this issue, what can I fucking do about it? It's I am feeling X way, this is what I want, because as a partner, especially for me and i.e. with someone in prep, I can't hit a target that I can't see.
Yeah.
So whenever we would have a conversation, or like you would raise something to me, I say, okay, do you want an ear or do you want solutions? Or it's like, do you want noise or do you want quiet? So it's like, because we set aside time to have those conversations, and it wasn't just like running out the door having that conversation or making it a quick fire in the moment if there was any tension.
Retaliation, like.
Not that we do anyway.
No, I know, but I think
some people will wait until the point of retaliation and wait until an argument's proved to have that conversation. Not the place to have it. You have it when you're both in a good headspace and you can speak freely and give the other person the floor. So you have an open conversation about how you feel, and you set genuine time aside so each of you feels heard and what you want from different situations and different feelings, so that over the weeks leading up to it, as it gets harder for one person to communicate over the other, we now have to spend less time communicating, because based on how she feels, I already know from the 4 or 5 times we've had that same conversation prior what to do in that situation. Whether it is a time to back off and let her do her thing, or whether it is a time to be a shoulder to lean on, or to prompt a conversation, or to dig a little bit.
And to be honest, like when people say, how can we communicate better? It sounds so simple, but like, just fucking talk, man.
Yeah, so that's...
I feel like people are so scared about how they're going to be perceived with their partner. If you're with the right person, you should never be apprehensive about vocalizing anything. You should be able to be so open about your thoughts, feelings, like what's going through your head. Like, I think we've had conversations before of like, I would have never let these words come out my mouth in front of anyone else.
Something that I wanted to highlight about you is that you know that I sometimes find it very hard to put the sentences or feelings in my head into words that then come out my mouth and make sense. But you will give me the time and the space to put the words together so that it makes sense, and you will almost, so like I can say something to you and you'll relay it back to me to make sure that what I've wanted to be understood has been understood.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a key part. It's just everyone communicates differently. Everyone has different potential issues with communicating. But if you give your partner the time and space they need, and also that, like, whether it's safe space to communicate, then the communication will always be healthy. If your partner, for whatever reason, brings up something that you disagree with, you don't retaliate and become an argument, because it's a conversation. If we sat down in that space to communicate, that space to communicate isn't a space to fight with each other, because you are trying to work together. In that if you raise something to me and I didn't agree with it, we would have a discussion about it and come to a conclusion. In that moment, you don't have that in conversation. Something pisses you off, you don't raise it and you let it brew for 3 days and then have an argument about it. Is that how do you communicate better? Is you make sure the conversation has a start, a middle and an end in that moment. and it's not spread across 4 days.
Yeah, like what's the goal for the conversation? A lot, like you should both want to get to a solution, whereas a lot of the time I feel like people start a conversation for an argument to win that battle, whereas we'll never have a conversation that's like, no, I need to win this. It's like, okay, how can we resolve this? And having that mindset towards things is going to be so much better.
I think in prep it's heightened as well, because it's like I said to you, it's like I make a big point to you about how even though you're prepping, you're dieting, it's not, you're able to separate being tired and hungry from being sad, which is something a lot of people can't do. But one thing you have to understand is being tired and hungry can shorten your tolerance to things that will previously potentially not piss you off, or they take longer to piss you off. And I allowed you to understand that's not a bad thing and give you time to process it. So what would happen is you would get annoyed at something that you wouldn't usually get annoyed at in that space, take 5-10 minutes, and then go, okay, I wouldn't usually have been annoyed at that. I apologise for getting a little bit annoyed about it.
I'd literally come back and be like, that was an overreaction.
But that leads to how to communicate better, is being the person that's not prepping, is be patient and give your partner the space they need when you know they are in a technically more vulnerable state, like they are neurologically compromised. So I see you react in a certain way that isn't the usual you. I give you the space to process it rather than seeing you react in that way and immediately jumping on you to have an argument about it. I went, okay, cool. She's clearly a little bit annoyed at something. I'm just going to let her do a thing. And then you come back and we...
Well, I was going to say, well, the other side to that is like myself have to not have an ego. Like you have to be able to say, that was an overreaction. I shouldn't have reacted in that way. Whereas how many people would never say that they did something incorrectly?
That goes back to what you said about not wanting to lose a conversation.
Yeah, like me coming back and being like, I should not have reacted in that way. You need to be able to like stand there and say like, I was incorrect there, you know?
So I think...
But I think we're going to go way...
If we can be useful and narrow it down to 3 points, is 1, set aside actual time to communicate.
Yeah.
2, go into that communication window not looking for a win, but looking for a resolution. And 3, as the person who's not prepping, given this is coming from someone whose partner is in prep, is have a heightened level of patience and understand that it's temporary and that your partner is placing energy that they don't have everywhere else. Be the one place they don't have to place as much energy. Like, take that bit for the next 20 weeks.
Yeah, but then I'd also come from the other side and be like, but it doesn't mean all because you're in a prep that you need to be a cunt.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, if your partner is being horrendous in a prep, that's their issue. It's not prep. It's their issue.
Yeah.
Anyway.
How does prep affect your social life as a couple? It doesn't, so we don't have one.
And we like it like that.
No, it's very much you are the people you surround yourself with. We don't get any enjoyment or benefit out of, say, going on a night out or...
Look, we have our friends. Like
we do, but they're generally within the same circles we are, so they have an understanding of what we're doing already. And I guess when you're an adult and you work all the time, there's also that understanding of you don't always have the same time to socialise. A social life is more like once every few months rather than like when you're younger.
It's more day things anyway. So yeah, prep doesn't really... I guess the only thing that it would affect is like, for example, do you remember when my mom was like, oh, I'll pop round at like 7 p.m? I was like, no, you won't. No, you won't. Because that's my final meal, my episodes, and my bedtime. So like, nothing happens past 7 o'clock. So that's probably the only thing that I'd say.
We are our social life.
Yeah. Besties. We're going to leave it there. We're going to do, like I mentioned, another Q&A on kind of the education side of things. Nat being self-coached and being the kind of monster that he is in terms of muscle growth, prepping clients. Of course, I can use my experience with being within... I've actually been weightlifting now for half my life, so 15 years, and with my own clients as well, maybe even posing side of things, but all things bodybuilding. So if you've got any questions that you want to ask, then drop them down below. Make sure you like, comment, share and subscribe. Click the notifications button so you get all the notifications for when we release our next video, which is every single week as of now. So we hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one.